My process for calling is still an ongoing thing, undoubtedly. I think that mine was sort of wrapped in a confusion with me over vocation and calling. And I kind of assumed that they were synonymous, that your vocation was your calling. And I poured a lot of years into a vocation, actually a couple of professions, and had reached a point where I wasn't really feeling very fulfilled in what I was doing. I was successful, but I wasn't fulfilled. I talked with some folks here at the church, one being Dan Case, who recommended a friend of mine, Greg Jones, and 3 years ago began the Intentional Living course with Craig. Through that process, Craig then became discipleship leader for a group that I'm in. And I can't really get in. It'd be too long to get into all the twists and turns that have occurred. But at the end of December of last year, I actually left my job. I'm not employed right now, so I'm not sure I'm the best person to talk about calling from a vocation standpoint. But it came to the realization that that vocation is not your calling, and I think that's what I'm. God took me away from my job. I think He led me away from that, not so much to put me in the ministry. I don't know whether He's going to put me anywhere. I don't know where that's going to be. But I think He took me away to give me time to think and to go through a transformation process. And that's what it's really been over the past 8 months. I've really become to love God as I never have before, and through several I guess books that I've read, I've think that I've sort of figured out, at least to some degree, that calling is, in some essence, it is loving God. That is what all of our calling is as Christians. And so in that sense, I'm certainly fulfilling or seeking to fulfill my calling as loving God as I should. And as far as the vocation part, that's going to come. I attended the calling seminar here that Oz Guinness put on, and he kind of told the story of how some people's vocation and calling are very well intertwined. I would think Randy Pope would be that way. I mean, clearly, he's been giving a special gift in his vocation and calling that we all sort of strive to be like, and but not all of us are called to be great communicators like him. And so I'm still trying to work through the vocation part, but yet from a purely Christian standpoint of loving God, that's been clarified and has been what I've been doing. I think just getting closer and drawing closer to Him.
How has this affected your life, your family life, professional, emotional, and spiritual?
Boy, that it's affected it tremendously. Obviously, I've left a job or profession that I was in. It has so it's affected me from not being employed, something I've never done in my life, over the past a few months, and struggling with that. Still kind of struggle with it. I think as a man, we all feel like that we should be out there working and doing something, creating. And I'm not in that mode right now, but what I am in is a mode of time of silence, time of reflection, and time of transformation. And so personally and spiritually, it's been the greatest growth of my life. My family's been great with it. They've all been behind me 100%, and it's drawn me a lot closer to them, especially my wife. And so I couldn't even begin to go into all the different areas that impacted, but the most important one has been in just true transformation. In the beginning, I think I prayed and read through Romans 12 so much, just how to renew our mind and be transformed so we know the will of God, and that has just been, an anchor for me as I kind of continue through the process.
What would you say to others who are on this journey?
For me, as I was talking about earlier, I had a real tendency to confuse calling and vocation. And while there's certainly people out there, I think, that are, their vocation and their calling are very well mixed and are very well intertwined, so that what they do as vocation fits well within their calling. But not everybody's going to have that luxury. I guess I'll call it luxury. Through another book that I've read through the process is a book that someone told me about a monk that lived hundreds of years ago, Brother Lawrence. And what Brother Lawrence did was in the monasteries, he kept the kitchen, he washed the dishes, and that was his vocation, but that was not his calling. His calling was to love God, and that's what he did every day. And every day when he was washing dishes or he was doing the menial chores of the kitchen, he loved God in that process. And so I think that anyone who's in the process now of calling, trying to figure that out, is, I think first and foremost is to see that your calling is to love God wherever you are. And I know that sounds cliche, because it did to me. I've heard it. I've been a Christian for 20 years, and I'd always heard that. But yet it wasn't until that God put me in this situation that he really meant it, or he enforced it in me to show me that this is what I want you to do. I want you to love me, and to really understand that if by loving me and seeking me, that all the other things will be added. I don't know what they are. I don't know, and I can't say that I don't worry about it. It certainly brings up a lot of fear, a lot. But I have to go back and keep my eyes where they should be, and keep pushing towards knowing him better, loving him better, and knowing that everything else is going to work out according to his will. And I would think that anyone, whether they're in a vocation, whatever they're doing, is to try to keep that in mind, and to know that I think first and foremost, all of us have a very clear calling, and that is to love God. Jesus summed it up, very, very, the law of the prophet is to love him with all our heart, mind, soul, and our neighbor as ourselves. And if we kind of see that as our calling, and continue to press towards that, and then know that everything else in life, again, don't want to sound too cliche, will work out, but we know that they will, and we trust that they will, and that's what you have to just keep your mind focused on.
All right. That's good.
Okay.